Is there ever a world where you would take Zaniolo back at Roma? I posted this question on Twitter this morning. The replies I got, I expected the negativity, I expected the criticism. What I didn't expect is how many Romanisti showed up in those comments saying, no, I'm going to pose a different point of view for you. You might not like it, you might hate me for it, but hear me out for a second. And Adrian's here. I'm yelling at somebody. It's not you. Don't worry. If anything gets shattered, we know it's my little guy. Okay. 90% of me looks back at Zaniolo and what he did in the locker room to those Primavera players, the way that he's acted over the past 4 years, how he tore his ACL, Roma rehabbed him, and then he started to blame the club for not being enough. Then he goes out to Turkey. He embarrasses himself out there. At Fiorentina, he was terrible, right? Fiorentina last season, Atalanta, nothing. And then even now this season, he's at Udinese where he's actually showing some form. Now that's where things start to change for me. And I start to see him apologize in the press, and he starts to take on a leadership role in that team. He's playing pretty good. He's dynamic. He's fast. And I'm like, maybe this kid has something to prove. Maybe for the Azzurri as well. Roma and the Italy right now really need somebody who could be that guy. I'm more talking about the Azzurri. Roma are in a much better position than Italy right now. But look at Bailey. A lot of money that we're paying him, right? In salary. Not playing. Always hurt. Not on the right side of his age where he could show improvement over time. It's not going to get better. Let me tell you. Like with Dybala, these things, these ligament injuries, they do not improve, guys, over time. Unless there's some miracle or they suddenly hit the gym and make tons of gains, nothing ever changes because it's ligaments. It's not muscles. The only thing you can do is protect them or get surgery. When you get surgery, of course, there's all types of complications that go on with that, and you could never recover, truly. It happens with a lot of players. That's progressing now with physical therapy and better surgeries. Okay, but Bailey's not it. Sule will be. He's already going to be the guy at Roma. I wouldn't be surprised if he signs a long-term deal or goes to somewhere like Manchester City for big money. It's going to be one of those, one or the other. He's going to be wearing number 10 or in some type of really important role, right? If he does not, if he does stay, if he doesn't stay, it's to a big club. Okay, so that leaves us with Dybala, who's aging, right? We don't know if he's going to sign a contract. Is he going to go to MLS? Is he going to go to Boca? We don't know yet. We don't know what could happen with that situation. So there's 2 question marks at right wing. At left wing, there's nobody. Nobody. Can I repeat that? At striker, nobody. Nobody that's actually cemented as like the starter there. So we've got Sule, Lorenzo Pellegrini, who has an expiring contract, and who else? Okay, you're starting to see my point, right? And now it takes a good scouting network to go around, acquire players and people who could be interesting. And sorry, I lost track. You see my son conspiring behind me. So that's where I start to think, what's available? What could Roma actually do? Xerxes, I do think will happen. What's the issue right now that they're saying is that there's the agent demands. So a loan with option to buy, but a large portion of that going to agents, and Roma are not pleased about that. I read that this morning too. That was all over Italian news, even in Roma press. They had it. So I think we have a long-term issue in Rome of like, okay, life after Dybala, and then Roma gets Xerxes. They pay for him. Still no striker. Still got to figure things out across the board. Left wing, like I said, it's not going to be Pellegrini. El Shaarawy, older. Baldanzi will probably go to Verona. Where does that leave Roma in the next 2 years? Because I think that this side really could fight for the Scudetto next season. And there's got to be some big moves made. Number 1, Xerxes, your center forward. And does a guy like Zaniolo come in? Would he gel? Maybe, like just maybe. Maybe he's that little bit of a jerk. I'm thinking of a different word, but this is a PG show where he could be like Ilicic under Gasparini when he was at Atalanta, right? Like that could be something really special. I'm probably wrong here. Look, you bust up a locker room with a couple Primavera players, you kind of show what you're about. And that's the reality. But if there's a 10% chance, I'm not saying I'd sign him. I would say I want to sit down with him. I want to talk to him. I want to see where his head is and how he would feel as a rotation player or as even a false 9. under Gasparini, because I think that's interesting too. I don't think it's over for him, and I don't think it's over for Zaniolo with the Azzurri. I think he's going to have an important next 2 to 3 years as well. I'm hoping that he could stay fit just for him as a player and as an individual, right? Now, Cremonese, we're going to get to this preview, not as boring as they might have seen. I'm going to pull up the sport mole just so we can look at a few things here as we go over. Let's get to the starting lineup first, and then I want to look over these players that they have at Cremonese. Sorry. Here we go. Roma's possible starting lineup, and I'll address the striker situation. Svilar, of course. Hermoso, Mancini, and Dika. Yeah, that's guaranteed. Selic out on the right. Maybe. Or does Selic step at right center back, and then Rensch gets a surprise start? I don't think so. Kone, Cristante, of course, yes. Wesley on the left. Up ahead, Sule on the right, yes. Pellegrini on the left, sure. Ferguson might not be fit. If he's not fit, we will see Baldanzi get the start. We saw that he got about a half's worth of playing time in the last match where Roma came out winners. So, yeah, this isn't a player that I expect to be here come February 1st. But, yes, your Flamingo. Mingo. Good boy. Anyway, over to Cremonese. Aldero, you might remember him from Sampdoria. Terracciano, Baschirotto, now 29 years old in his prime. Bianchetti, Barbieri, who no, he's not from Roma. I was thinking of somebody else. Bondo, interesting player here, on loan from Milan. He has the highest transfer transfer value according to Transfer Market of any player for Cremonese, although he's not owned by the club. Like I said, he's on loan from Milan. Petzella out on the left with Bonazzoli, the former Inter Milan striker, had his best years 2 to 3 years ago at Salernitana. He scored a bunch of goals. I think at a 35% rate. And then other than Jamie Vardy, the guy who did the impossible under Ranieri, right? Goes and wins the English Premier League under the guy who is now Roma's director of everything, right? As far as I understand. So also another name here, Franco Vasquez. Franco Vasquez, very important player to Palermo when they were in Serie A. And the stuff that he did with Dybala, I think also under Gasparini at a time, was really impressive. He then went to Atletico Madrid, I'm pretty sure. So that's a player I really like, and I followed his career lightly, but to see him now at Cremona is interesting. So, and yeah, this is a away match. This is being played at 9 a.m. Sunday morning Eastern Standard Time. What else could we say is that Roma are preparing well, and I think we've seen that from each match. And I was listening to Radio Romanista this morning, and somebody said that this team, the one thing they could expect is they prepare well. I was like, yeah, that's a really good point. Whenever Roma take the pitch, it's not that they're not ready. Sometimes it's tactical misunderstandings, or it's like, why did we allow that? Or this player got caught out. But really the collective effort has truly been there. So I don't think we have to worry about that with Roma after the break. The one thing which does preoccupy me is how much time is being put into some of the players like Kone, Gianluca Mancini, right, and Dika, who was away. Roma are going to lose him, and El Ainaoui for AFCON. I think that's a big loss. This is why Roma is looking at Frendrup or not Freuler, Remo Freuler, who was very good about 5-6 years ago at Atalanta under Gasparini, of course. So also shout out to De Rossi, who was taking the bench at Genoa. I'm not sure if you caught that one. But on top of the midfield, that cover for El Ainaoui, Indica, I don't know. Can Gilardi and Ziolkowski cover that? Are they at that point? I'm not so sure yet, but Cristante will be there. He had a excellent, I was looking at this before. I'm going to post it on Twitter, and then I'll post the link in the comments here. But Cristante, his passes to the penalty box per 90 and through passes per 90, very high. Just got to make sure my son's not destroying something here. He's trying to destroy a painting of mine. It doesn't end, guys. If you want to have kids, I fully endorse it. I think you should have kids. No. You saw what he just grabbed? No. That we don't touch. No. Right? No. That's right. No. Not the Totti signed autograph. That was a gift for me. Anyway, on that note, I think it's time for somebody to go to bed, and it's not me. Talk to you guys soon. Predictions, Roma win away 2-0. I think that's what we're looking at.